The Constitution does not confer a right to abortion.
The moment of an historic announcement. It's been law for 50 years, but not anymore tonight. Roe versus Wade overturned by the Supreme Court. We're breaking down that ruling that's getting strong but mixed reaction.
I could see them taking cases and perhaps reconsidering those decisions.
And we'll talk about what today's decision could mean for tomorrow's access to contraception and gay marriage.
Calm night, but we'll wake up tomorrow with clouds on the increase as well as the humidity when we're near 90 degrees before rain moves in and cools us down for Sunday.
From the station with the most local news, Fox 17 News at 11 starts right now.
Now, with Roe gone, let's be very clear. The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
Well, that was some strong words from the president moments after an historic ruling from the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. We're covering pro-life and pro-choice rallies around the city and the nation tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Reardon. The Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade today, following a 1973 decision that federally established a woman's right to an abortion. Today's opinion now puts the power of that decision in the hands of individual states. It is by far the most consequential Supreme Court decision in many decades. Right now, 16 states protect abortion rights to some degree, and that ruling isn't expected to change that per se. But the president held a press conference today and didn't mince words about the far-reaching impact this ruling could have.
The court's decision to do so will have real and immediate consequences. State laws banning abortion are automatically taking effect today, jeopardizing the health of millions of women, some without exceptions. So extreme that women could be punished for protecting their health. So extreme that women and girls who are forced to bear their rapist's child. For the child, a consequence. It just stuns me. So extreme that doctors will be criminalized for fulfilling their duty.
But for millions of Americans who oppose abortion, this is a decision they have been waiting for and hoping on for decades.
This is amazing. This is probably the best day of American history in my lifetime. This is incredible, and thank God for all the people who've been fighting for 50 years.
Today's ruling almost identical to the draft that was leaked last month. You might remember, written by Justice Samuel Alito. According to the abortion rights group, the Guttmacher Institute, about half of U.S. states will likely move to ban the procedure. And the grounds outside the Capitol in Lansing saw dual rallies today. Our Lauren Edwards was there all day, and she spoke to a legal expert also about today's decision.
The rally now wrapping up, and Governor Gretchen Whitmer, she spoke just saying that as a mother, a woman, a Michigander, and as a governor, she's going to fight. She's determined to fight for women's reproductive rights, which is the sentiment of many people who were out here all afternoon. Now, again, this was supposed to be a Dobbs Decision Day rally, but Planned Parenthood was here. And I spoke with a University of Michigan professor who explained exactly what all of this means for the state of Michigan.
Right now, we have our 1931 abortion ban, but it is held up under injunction. And there's the governor's lawsuit and then the Planned Parenthood lawsuit.
Both lawsuits filed in April will keep abortion legal in Michigan, despite SCOTUS's announcement to overturn Roe versus Wade. However, that 1931 law, which criminalized abortion decades ago, is something we need to keep an eye on, says Anna Kirkland with the University of Michigan.
Now, that injunction could be lifted as the litigation proceeds. So that is a possibility, although I think it's more likely that it will remain tied up in litigation and the injunction will stay in place.
But for many states in the Midwest and South, abortion becomes illegal immediately, which she says will have a direct impact on Michigan.
Michigan would then, in that circumstance, become what we're calling a surge state, where we would see women traveling to Michigan, potentially in very large numbers,
to obtain abortions. Kirkland says she's concerned, though, about the women who can't make it up to Michigan. For them, it could be a matter of life or death.
I'm worried about the women who will not be able to get abortions and whose pregnancies will put them in significant danger. Homicide is the leading cause of death in pregnant women, and that's mostly at the hands of their intimate partners.
She says it's also important to think about what this means for doctors and abortion care providers.
That could be really problematic when when doctors are forced to think about whether they might be arrested, at the same time they're trying to treat, say, a pregnant woman who's experiencing life-threatening pregnancy complications. So how long do they wait until it looks like her life would be threatened?
In Michigan, the focus right now, she says, is the Reproductive Freedom Ballot Initiative. If it gets enough signatures by July 11th, it gets on the ballot. And if it's passed, women here will have the right to abortion contraception and a slew of other reproductive freedoms. However, she says, don't take your eyes off about what's happening elsewhere.
Once the constitutional guardrails are removed, then, you could see states trying to criminalize travel for use of to get an abortion. You could see criminalizing the person seeking the abortion. Previously, it's been mostly about criminalizing providers. Attorney General Dana Nessel has stated a number of times in the past, just as she stated today, that she will not reinforce that 1931 law. And it's also important to note that Michigan joins Illinois as the only two states in the Midwest that now offer abortions. As for us, we're going to continue to stay on this story and give you guys updates and developments as we get them. Reporting here in Lansing, Lauren Edwards, Fox 17 News.
And of course, stay with Fox 17 for continuing coverage of today's decision. You can find the latest at fox17online.com, and also be sure to follow along our social media pages and our mobile app for any updates.
West Michigan saw lots of sunshine here this afternoon, and here's a look at a time lapse from what we'd seen today in Muskegon. Just all the boats that were in and out of the channel earlier today, very busy with the temperatures in the upper 80s near 90. Tomorrow is going to be a little different story. You have more cloud cover and eventually some rain moving in. But we've had 3 days in a row now of near perfect sunshine where no clouds obstructed our view of the sun during the daytime hours. So it's been very, very nice. Today was the warmest we've seen since Tuesday as well, 89 in Grand Rapids. We did have a couple of 90s in Ionia, Lansing, as well as in Kalamazoo. Otherwise, upper 80s. Along the lakeshore, it was a pleasant day. Not too hot, again, with the dew points in the 50s. It didn't feel like the upper 90s like we had seen earlier in the week. So this was a more comfortable 89 degrees in Grand Rapids. Right now, we're falling back in the 70s and 60s. We're still at 76 at the Grand Rapids Airport and in Ionia, 69 in Fremont and out towards Alma, 71 in Whitehall, 72 in Ludington. South of I-96, we're at 68 in Lawton, 68 in Coresco, 69 in Marshall, as well as in Coldwater, 72 in Benton Harbor, and 67 in South Haven. As for tonight, temperatures are going to be in the 60s for us, fairly mild for overnight lows with mostly clear skies and a very calm wind. We won't see a lot of the cloud cover really build in until we get to the late morning, early afternoon hours. I think by noon, most of us are actually going to be mostly cloudy, but we'll start with the 60s, meaning nearing the 80s and near 90 degrees in the evening hours before that rain chance starts to move in. I think most of us will see a wave of showers in the late evening, early overnight hours, and then it'll wrap up early Sunday morning, and we'll start to dry out for a beautiful Sunday. But here's a closer look at Saturday along the lakeshore. Southerly wind will be a little breezy at times, but it's not going to affect wave heights. It's a favorable position and direction. Water temperatures nearing the 70-degree mark everywhere, low 70s from South Haven to the south. And the rain chances, again, inland and along the lakeshore, arrive in the evening hours. As for long term, we're looking at the heat to build in just for tomorrow, again, near 90 degrees, but it's not going to be a humid heat. And then we'll see a cool front come in with the rain chances as well Saturday night into Sunday morning. That keeps us cool with highs only in the 70s and lower 80s on Sunday and to start our work week. I'll have a little bit more detail on that, as well as how much rain we'll see Saturday night into Sunday morning.
All right. Thank you for that, Reese. 2 suspects remain on the loose tonight after an exchange of gunfire between GRPD and a passenger of a stolen vehicle. We've talked a lot about stolen vehicles lately. Police saw this car driving early this morning with no headlights on, and when they approached the car, a passenger started firing. Police, of course, fired back. That lengthy chase then kicked off right around the city of Grand Rapids. Police were able to track down an 18-year-old suspect located in that area, but 2 other people who were in the car at the time have not been found. However, police don't believe there is a threat to the public right now. The officer involved has been placed on critical incident leave pending the outcome of the investigation. And Congress approved a bipartisan gun safety bill on Friday, ending years of political stalemate and paving the way towards the most significant changes to federal gun regulations in decades. The measure was overwhelmingly approved in the House after securing a narrow majority in the Senate on Thursday. It includes millions in funding for mental health and school safety, and it also creates new restrictions on who can purchase a gun. Gloria Pazmino has the details.
On this vote, The yeas are 234. The nays are 193. The motion is adopted.
In what amounts to the first major federal gun safety legislation in decades, Congress approved a bipartisan gun deal Friday.
We take a historic first step toward ending the epidemic of gun violence in this nation.
The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act includes $750 million for mental health, school safety, crisis intervention programs, and incentives for states to enact red flag laws. The measure also makes changes to the gun purchasing process for people ages 18 to 21 and closes the so-called boyfriend loophole, banning anyone convicted of domestic violence against a partner in a serious relationship from owning a gun. Lawmakers were spurred to action in the aftermath of recent mass shootings. The bipartisan deal required the support of 15 Republicans in the Senate.
This is the sweet spot, Madam President. Making America safer, especially for kids in school, without making our country one bit less free.
Still, House Republicans lined up in opposition of the bill.
Today, they're coming after your Second Amendment liberties. I would urge a no vote.
President Biden is expected to sign the bill into law. In New York, I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
And still ahead, we're going to continue to talk about what is next for abortion rights. Stay with us. With the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, there are worries that today's opinion opens the door to reversing other legal precedents. Fox 17's Matt Whitgose talked to a constitutional law expert and has more on what could be next for things like contraceptive rights and gay marriage.
I could see them taking cases and perhaps reconsidering those decisions.
Kyla Stepp has been studying constitutional law for 2 decades. She's currently teaching political science at Central Michigan University. Some of her teaching revolves around Supreme Court decisions.
Some of the justices, enough of them, it seems, don't really see that way anymore, that sticking to precedent isn't that important. So it's certainly unique. It makes it more difficult to research and to teach because usually the court is pretty consistent.
Justice Samuel Alito offered assurances that other presidents are not at risk. Justice Thomas is writing a different opinion following the 5-4 ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade.
He's always said he doesn't know why precedent really needs to be followed.
Stepp wasn't surprised by Thomas's remarks about revisiting decisions like contraception and same-sex marriage. She says he has had unpopular opinions compared to his colleagues before. However, Thomas is on a court with more conservative justices this time.
This time he stood alone in his concurrence, but there are other justices on the court that I could see agreeing with him behind closed doors and perhaps taking him up on this, in future terms.
Those cases could come up as soon as a year from now. Stepp says the Supreme Court has already picked some issues they'll decide for next term, but still have room to add more.
Whether they'll move that fast or whether they will kind of back off for a little, let some of the backlash die down, let the public kind of forget right now how angry they are at the Supreme Court. They may take a term or two to involve themselves in some of these issues.
Reporting in Grand Rapids, I'm Matt Whitgose, Fox 17 News.
All right, thank you, Matt. And coming up after the break, expanding access to dental care.
We all know oral health pain is extremely challenging, and that's the one very, very few thing that you really can't get relief from in an emergency room.
We talked to an organization hosting an event today, all in an effort to ensure anyone has access, regardless of income.
And some showers and storms picking up out to our west. I'll talk about when this moves into West Michigan and how much of it is still intact tomorrow night.
Well, Fox 17 update to a story that we covered this winter. Somebody, if you remember, was going around Kent County shooting deer from the road and then just leaving them there. It's a sad story. It turns out it was 29-year-old Edward Trout of Cedar Springs. He actually confessed to DNR and now faces 5 charges, including hunting and fishing without a license. His hunting and fishing privileges, we should note, have been suspended here in the state. Trout is also accused of illegally poaching turtles and could face jail time over this. He is back in court on July 19th. And Kalamazoo community members are making sure that everyone has access to bright and shiny teeth, and safe teeth at that. Today they hosted an annual Dental Day of Caring. The annual event is hosted in honor of Dr. Lucinda Soto, who is the founder of and hosted the Family Health Care Center in Kalamazoo. Dentists estimate that around 30% of adults can't afford oral health services. So during the Day of Dental Caring, the Family Health Center gives those services free of charge to the many people that need them.
We all know oral health pain is extremely challenging, and that's the one very few thing that you really can't get relief from in an emergency room. We are open to everyone, so we know that we have a lot of individuals that have recently immigrated into our country, and we're working with them. Of course, we work with the rural community, obviously the urban community. So again, everyone is welcome, and we're just happy to provide the service here in town.
Yeah, probably something a lot of us take for granted. Crawford says they partnered with the University of Michigan Dental School for the event, and they gave away over $150,000 worth of services. Good for them.